Hi there, it's Jeff here from the Wetsuit Centre, talking to you today about this year's Billabong foil range for summer 2013. The foil has always been a really popular selling wetsuit, one of our top sellers for the summer season, because it's got a good reputation for having a lot of quality, a lot of technical features for not too expensive a price. Now, when I say foil range, that basically means that they come in a few different styles of suit, if I sort of explain the difference. The ones that we're stocking this year is the Billabong Foil GBS, and that comes with the chest zip that we've got here, and then we've got the Billabong Foil Flatlock. And basically that terminology determines which type of seam that you get. With the Flatlock, that's obviously the cheaper suit. The Flatlock wetsuit just basically determines the type of stitching. The difference between GBS and Flatlock. Okay, Flatlock basically is where the two pieces of neoprene are butted up together and then flatlock stitched, and that stitching goes the whole way through, meaning the seams are breathable, meaning that the suit will let in water. Quite slowly, it's still good, it's still quite resilient, but it does mean that the water will slowly come in through the seams, and obviously that's not as good as having a sealed wetsuit, which is where the GBS series comes in. The GBS is basically determines glued and blind stitch, that's what it stands for, and essentially what that means, the two pieces of neoprene are butted up together. They're sewn halfway through, and the other side they are glued shut. Basically that completely seals off the wetsuit, means that no water is going to come in through those seams, and it does add flexibility as well. Okay, so that's why this GBS series is a bit more expensive. But having said that, the Flatlock suit is still very good wetsuit indeed. In terms of the other sort of features and functions, there's not a huge amount of difference between the two, but I will go through them. One of the best things about the foil, especially this year, is the amount of ultra stretch neoprene you get running through the whole suit. Two different real types of neoprene that they use within these wetsuits, which is a standard sort of BTN neoprene, which is a little bit coarser, not quite as flexible, not quite as comfortable against the skin. Then you've got the ultralight neoprene, which is kind of a lot softer, a lot smoother, the jersey running over, and a lot more flexible as well, a lot more give. Okay. Traditionally, sort of lower end suits were made entirely of the BTN neoprene, but as sort of time's moved on, the wetsuits have got a bit cheaper, a bit more competitive, you get more and more of this sort of ultralight neoprene. And this year, pretty much most of the wetsuit is ultralight neoprene. The whole way around the shoulders, so you get a huge amount of flexibility there, and then you get that all the way down through the side panels, around through the crotch region, around the lumbar, around the bum, and all the way down to even around the sort of legs and shins, so you can put your feet through. So I'd probably say about 80% of this wetsuit is now ultralight neoprene, and that even counts for the sort of lower end Flatlock suit as well. The majority of it being really flexible ultralight neoprene. Okay, so that's fantastic for a suit of this sort of cost, you know, to have that sort of amount of ultra stretch neoprene. It's going to make it really comfortable, really stretchy, move with your body, sticks to your body better, and actually keeps you warmer because it's more aerated, it's got more air in the neoprene to insulate you ultimately. So it's really fantastic feature for sort of a wetsuit that expensive, or that cheap I should say. Moving on, with the sort of standard Flatlock suit, you just get the usual back zip. It comes quite far down, so it gives you the ability to get the suit on and off nice and easy. That's the main sort of benefit of the back zip. Adjustable collar, you get a YKK zip, and the YKK zip is really good, really sort of resilient, nice hard wearing zip. You can sort of have a look at that, it's quite chunky steel zip. Won't corrode, won't get stuck with the salt water. Zip comes quite far down, you've then got a specially coated zip to stop water coming in. If any water does come in, you've got a little flap under the zip there, which just sort of hopefully keep the water off your back. You've got a smooth skin panel on the back and on the front, and that will stop any wind penetrating the suit. Duraflex knee pads, which is a special sort of like a robust material, ergonomically designed to fit the knee, and it stops them wearing through. So if you're sort of learning to do something, it's typically a suit will wear through on the knee, but it won't do that as much with this suit because you've got that Duraflex. And then on the inside of the suit, it's not a huge amount to show you, just sort of a few things what you get with a quality wetsuit. You know, you've got Flatlock stitching you can see running through, and just in certain areas of the suit it's sort of double stitched around the sort of like critical junctions of the suit, and sometimes you get a bit of taping as well just to make sure that the seams don't fall apart. Okay, so that's the Flatlock suit. More expensive suit then, or the more high performance suit. We're only going with the chest zip this year. You can get a back zip, but we've found that basically for a suit of this value more and more people are going for the chest zips. The reason being, with a chest zip basically you have no need for a zip on the back of the suit, obviously, so that frees up the whole back panel, gives you more stretch throughout the suit, gives you more flexibility, and allows you to sort of move easier and have more flex and stay in the water longer, hopefully, because you're going to get worn down less. The downside to a chest zip, obviously, it's a little bit harder to get in and out of. With this particular suit, I believe, is a kid's suit. They have the, with the kids foil, they have a sort of over-the-head chest zip system, which opens up on both sides. The idea being it's going to allow the open up the collar a bit more and make it a little bit easier for kids. With the adult suit, you've actually got it sort of sealed on one side, so a little bit harder to get into. So the chest zip system, you've got a toggle on the side, allows you to tighten it, just sort of smooth skin around here, creates a seal across the sides. There's only one place water can get in. If it does get into the wetsuit, instead of going into the actual suit itself, it's met with the under part of the chest zip, which is here. This flap that comes up really high, so that's going to protect you for any water coming in, and instead is drained down through to the bottom of the chest zip here and out of these drain holes on the front of the suit. You also get those around the back as well, around the chest zip system, to get rid of any water so it's not sloshing around. Also, if any flush fees do come through the neck, then obviously it's met with this panel of neoprene and washed as much as it can out the side of the suit rather than into the wetsuit itself. That's another benefit of the chest zip system really as well, is the fact that you don't have like a broken collar, so it creates a better seal around your neck and it's better at keeping out water ultimately as well. So if you can get the hang of getting in and out of the suit, then it's definitely a bonus to have the chest zip system, which is why we're sort of sticking with it with the Billabong foil. As I turn the suit inside out, you'll notice some of the different sort of colours, different panels of neoprene, and I'll talk you through those in a second. Basically, the purple stuff is the ultralight neoprene, that really sort of stretchy neoprene I talked about earlier. As you can see, that's running through most of the suit. Then the orange panel is a thermal lining. You only get that in the sort of more high performance GBS suit. There's no point really having it in a flat lock suit that's going to let in water anyway. But that thermal material is like a polypro material, kind of like thermal underwear. It's non-absorbent, so it dries quickly. And it also pulls moisture out of the wetsuit and helps it sort of dry quicker. But more importantly, it insulates you, keeps you warmer. As you lose heat out of your body, rather than losing it through the neoprene quite quickly, it retains that heat inside the core of your wetsuit, so around your organs, to keep you warmer. You get that around the front, but the good thing about this year's suit, rather than last year's, you only had that on the front. This year you get that front and back. And then you can see evidence around the sort of joints I was talking about before. You get all that taping just to make the suit nice and robust. One thing I will check while we're talking about the wetsuit is whether or not you get that thermal lining on the kids' wetsuit, which would be interesting to see, kids' summer suit, and no you don't. Okay, so you only really get that thermal lining on the adult suit, and you definitely don't get it with the flat lock. But everything you do get, high quality neoprene, and then you get the sort of GBS seams with the more expensive suit. You get a good sort of chest zip system, you get ultralight neoprene the whole way through, critical taping, and you even get most of those features on the flat lock suit as well. So the Billabong foil is always a winner every year for a summer wetsuit if you're looking for a good quality suit without breaking the bank.